Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would ever do time in prison. I mean, I tried to do all the right things growing up. I partied like every other girl would, had some fun. I went to school, had a great job, but unfortunately, I was involved in an abusive relationship, which led to events which eventually landed me in prison. My name is Shante Chappell, and this is my story. It was Saturday. I just got off work. I was working at the bank, and the bank is closed on Sundays. So it was Saturday, and I had the intent of just sleeping in all weekend. I had two jobs at the time. So when I took a Xanax that was not prescribed to me, and I ended up getting into an altercation with my boyfriend at the time. We ended up arguing. The argument got physical, and he ended up choking me till I thought I was going to lose my life. And the first chance that I got, I grabbed my keys, ran out the house, forgot I even took the Xanax. The Xanax hadn't even kicked in yet. And I remember backing out of my parking space and getting on the road. And next thing you know, the Xanax must have kicked in because I blacked out. And the last thing I remember is waking up to a dead guy in front of my car. During this time, my emotions were very, very dark. Waking up every morning knowing that you killed an innocent man that didn't deserve to from your irresponsible decision at the time, it was very hard on me. Words can't describe how that felt, waking up knowing that you did that, and knowing that you're going to lose everything that you had and that you worked for. I had a good job. I had my own place. Everything was good. I had my own car. I was very fortunate. And knowing that you're losing everything in 30 seconds, I felt like my life changed. And it was dark. Knowing that I'm going to be taken away from my family was very hard. But what was even harder was knowing that I'm going to be taken away from my family for a little bit, but to knowing that I took someone else away from their family forever, it was hard to bear on a day-to-day basis, very hard. So my boyfriend at the time, when we first got together, he was just very nice. He admired me, he adored me, he loved to spend time with me all day. Maybe you just feel really wanted as his woman. I think every woman wants that and wants to feel that when they're with someone. So he was just ideally just someone I loved being around. He made me feel good. I loved being in a relationship with him and knowing the feelings are mutual. Everything I thought was going the way I wanted, something I wanted in someone. And things changed. The first time he hit me, we were having an argument, and we started arguing, and I didn't want to argue anymore. So I just said, shut up, leave me alone. I don't want to fucking talk anymore. Leave me alone. That's what I said, and he didn't like that. And that's when I seen the other side of him. I said something he didn't like, and he just, with a quickness, just grabbed me by my neck and slammed me against the wall. And when he was choking me, I was just in shock. Not the person that I felt like was so loving, so protective over me, admired me so much, made me feel so good, could ever do that. So I was just really hurt and really just in shock and scared that I couldn't believe that he put his hands on me. And of course, afterwards he said how sorry he was, that he will never do it again. He was just really upset. He was having a bad day. And when you love someone, you accept the excuses and you want to believe it. And that's what happened. I believed it, but then it became a pattern, and I saw myself forgiving him every time. And then next thing you know, you get used to it. So then it starts not being a big deal, and that's where women go wrong at. You get used to it, and then you find yourself just in a constant abusive relationship that gets hard to get out of. At first, when it first happened, it didn't happen after that for a couple months. After that, we had another argument, and it just became constant after that. We really, every time we argued, because he didn't like when I said something that he didn't like. So whenever I said anything he didn't like, that's when it happened. And it became very frequent, very constant. Every argument, it led to a fight, unless I just was completely quiet, and that just wasn't the kind of person I am to be quiet. So it became very, very frequent. I was very private. My family knows that I know better, and they raised me a lot better, so I hid it from them. I didn't tell them. It would keep me away from my family because my family loves me and knows me very well, so they would be able to tell when something was wrong with me. So it made me stay away from my family. I did open up to my friends and tell them, because it was hard to just bear every day and not talk to anyone about it. And they would always advise me to get out of it. You don't deserve that. But at the time, I was just a weak woman in love, and I guess you can say I didn't know my worth at the time, and I just dealt with it because I loved him, and I was okay with that, which is very common, unfortunately, with women. Like I said, you get used to it after dealing with it time and time again. A lot of my friends advised me to get out of the relationship, and I wouldn't. The community was very upset and very hurt at what happened. He was a very loved man. He was the vice principal at his school. He also was like a water polo coach. He was a very, just like I said, adored man. And people were very, very heartbroken when this happened. There was a lot of mean things about me on the internet, as if I was a monster. And there was a lot of blogs and newspaper articles and things on the news and things like that. I was going through it so bad, and my heart and my mind were so hurt that this situation had occurred. The best thing I had to do was not look at him ever. Of course, friends and family told me because they were everywhere, but I really had to not pay attention to them and not read them because I was already hurting too much, and it was almost pretty much unbearable. And so I had to not look at the media, not watch the news. They had my mugshot everywhere, blogs, YouTube videos. I mean, just really attacking me pretty much, and really upset and hurt by what happened. And so it was a really dark moment at that time when it first happened. So initially I was looking at 15 years to life. That's what I was looking at for a gross vehicular manslaughter. I've never been in trouble. I had no record, so we were able to get me a deal, and I ended up getting sentenced 4 years with half in prison. And I was very, very scared at the time because I've heard I was hearing a lot of things about how racist and how hard it is with people of color to be in trouble and to have this charge in Ventura County. So I was very, very scared, and I was just very blessed and fortunate to be able to do my 4-year sentence instead of possibly getting 15 years to life. I spent 2.5 weeks at Todd Road in the county, and after that, the bus, they call it the chain, came and got me, and I started doing my prison time at Chowchilla, a female prison in Chowchilla up north. So what I did with my time serving my sentence is, number one, I definitely deepened and got a more personal relationship with God, because going through what I went through was just extremely hard on my mind and my heart. So I definitely deepened my relationship with him because he was the only one that was going to get me through this. I also worked out a lot. I did it more for a mental purpose. It just took me away from where I was at and soothed my mind. So I worked out a lot. I read books and just tried to keep my mind going on positive things and not be involved or around things that went on in prison. And then I also ended up transferring from Chowchilla to Corona, which is another prison, women's prison. And I got there, and maybe about a month after, I started training for fire camp. And fire camp is when you basically give back to the community. If you have the opportunity to, you can go to fire camp and you give back to the community. You fight fires, you help fireproof people's homes and different things like that. And so after I finished my training for fire camp, I went to a camp in Malibu. And I fought fires there for a little bit, did some time there. And my last camp that I went to was Puerto La Cruz, which is in Warner Springs. And I fought fires there, and that's where I was released from. And it was just an amazing opportunity to do my time in fire camp, because I feel like I was giving back to the community, and it gave me just some structure. It gave me more productive things to do in my time and learn and work with people. It was very fortunate to be able to work with not only inmates, but also captains, fire captains that worked at Cal Fire, and foremen that worked at LA County Fire, and work with other humans and them treat you nicely and don't make you feel like you're just an inmate, and you were able to work as a team and go to work every day and just feel like you're giving back was great. So that's how I did my time. During prison, I did have a lot of family support and friend support. I felt extremely blessed. When you go to prison, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have people to reach out to them. They don't get a letter. They don't get any money on their books to buy extra food. They don't get anything from their family. They can't even make a phone call. So the amount of love and support that I got from my friends and family, being the situation that I was in, was amazing. And when you're at your lowest point, you just appreciate them so much because they don't have to be there for you. And a lot of people's family choose not to be. So I was very lucky to have them there, to get my visits and to be able to have contact with them, no matter being in prison or being at fire camp. And it was very, very fortunate for me to have that. I got out of prison December 22nd of 2015, which was a huge blessing. The Christmas before that is when I was in prison still, and it was very hard on me. Christmas is my favorite holiday, so I wasn't able to spend Christmas with my family, which was really hard. And I was blessed enough to get out 3 days before Christmas, this past Christmas. And I got to spend time with my family and see my grandparents and see all the kids. And it was very, very nice and very fortunate for me to get out. New start. If I could say something to my victims and the family, I would say just how sorry I am, and how not a day goes by that I don't think about it, and how heavy it is on my heart and mind, and how much I wish I could just take it back, and how just how sorry I am. Words just can't even describe what I feel every day, and I live with it every single day, and it gets really, really hard, and I'm just really sorry that it happened. If I could say something to women in domestic violence is, number one, get out of the situation. As women, we kind of think, example, as myself, I thought when I'm dealing with domestic violence, it's just hurting me and it's my issue and my problem. You don't realize, because you're so caught up in your own situation, that you're hurting people that really love you and that really care about you, because it shouldn't be happening. And no one deserves to get abused, whether you're a man or a woman. No one deserves to get abused, and you have to be smart about it. You can't be ignorant to it, that domestic violence can lead you in situations that you'll never imagine. For example, me, I end up affecting a whole community because I chose to deal with domestic violence. Know your worth. It's definitely not worth it. And when you're going through domestic violence, think not only of yourself, but think about the people around you and the people that you could possibly affect. And unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. I had to affect a whole community to know that domestic violence is not okay. So my day-to-day is number one, I'm applying for jobs day and night, all day, every day. It's definitely a reality check, because I've always been able to get really good jobs. I've always had, always were able to get good jobs and not have to worry about having a background. And so the reality is, now that I'm home from prison and I'm a convicted felon, it's definitely discouraging sometimes when you're applying for jobs. But I don't limit myself at all. Even though, like, I don't have a car, I don't have a license anymore, and I can't drive, it's definitely a struggle to apply and try to get a good job and to try to just keep pushing. But you have to do it and not limit yourself. And I just don't stop, and I try to keep thriving and keep applying no matter what challenges come. I also spend a lot of time with my family. Going to prison, you learn to appreciate them a lot more. I take care of my little sister right now. I spend a lot of time with her. I watch her every day. I also I go to the gym a lot, and luckily it's close, so I can walk. I don't have to worry about getting a ride. It is sometimes frustrating to have to get a ride everywhere you want now, everywhere you want to go. I also want to open up a nonprofit organization for empowering women. And what that is just, I want us to empower each other, and no matter what you're going through, no matter where you're from, I really want us women to come together and lift each other up. And that's why I'm really passionate about my women empowerment organization, for us to know our worth. And I've been doing a lot of research on that. So my plans for the future is I definitely want to get my master's degree in business management and women's studies and sociology. I really want to focus on that. I really want to put a lot of my focus in my nonprofit organization for empowering women, whether you're in an abusive relationship, whether you have low self-esteem, anything that empowers you. I want to help people grow through their struggles and not settle, and to always thrive and know your worth. I really want to speak out to people about driving under the influence, because even down the street, it's not worth it. You have to think about yourself. I'm sorry, you can't only think about yourself. You have to think about the people that you can affect around you, and how things can change, and you can hurt someone or kill someone in 30 seconds and lose everything. And so I really want to speak to people about driving under the influence. One thing that stuck with me is I want to speak to people that have made the same mistake that I have. And I really want to speak to them and know that they're not alone, because number one, the most important is the victim's family and their emotions and how much you've affected them. But I also want people to know what we go through too, and how we grieve and how we're sorry, and how when you're going through a situation like that, you feel like you're not worth anything and you shouldn't even be here. And so I really want to reach out to people who've made the same mistake, and also let them know that they're not alone as well. And so that's what I want to do with my life. My name is Shante Chappell, and this is Fresh Out, Life After the Penitentiary.